Next on Worcester News tonight, a woman is dead. Several firefighters are taken to the hospital after a 4-alarm fire in Pepperell. Plus, battling the temperatures, outdoor workers are dealing with extreme heat and humidity across the region. Good evening and thanks for joining us. I'm Olivia Lemon. Developing news tonight, one woman is dead. Several others, including firefighters, are hurt in a fire in Pepperell. Crews had a difficult time battling the flames with today's heat. Neighbors are calling it a tragic loss. Our Chandler Walsh joins us live now in Pepperell where the scene is cleared. Chandler.
Olivia, it's been about 10 hours since the fire broke out here on Main Street, and the 6-unit apartment building is now being boarded up. I want to give you a closer look. The Pepperell Fire Department says the victim was found on the first floor in the front of the building here. A Good Samaritan is being credited with helping others to safety. An active scene hours after a 4-alarm fire destroyed this Pepperell apartment building. A woman was killed and 5 others were injured. Pepperell's fire chief describes the scene when crews arrived.
The fire was blowing out the front and the side, and it was lapping or extending up into the 2nd and 3rd floor.
An off-duty fire lieutenant spotted flames and smoke, alerting the department. Chief Brian Borneman says a Good Samaritan went inside, knocking on doors to get people out.
It takes us a while to assemble a firefighting force to attack that fire. So I can't say at this point how much that helped, but I'm sure it did to get people out of the building.
Sandra Gavoni's son was sleeping during the morning fire. The Samaritan woke him up and alerted him to get outside.
Somebody was banging on his door, and he was just wondering who was banging on his door. And all of a sudden he realized they were yelling fire, and he just ran.
Gavoni doesn't know the man's name, but says he wore a bright green shirt and she can't thank him enough.
You don't know how grateful I am that my son is okay.
Gavoni says her son lived behind the victim and knew her well.
She was elderly and handicapped. Her husband was a service vet.
The fire department says 5 people were taken to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries, including 4 firefighters. Chief Borneman says conditions were difficult.
The heat plus the fire, the humidity, the initial crews only had so much, energy to attack that fire.
The fire department says 8 people are displaced. The state fire marshal, Middlesex district attorney, and both the police and fire departments are investigating. But the fire department does say they don't believe the cause of this fire is suspicious. Live in Pepperell, Chandler Walsh, Worcester News Tonight.
Heat and humidity across central Massachusetts today. A heat advisory is in effect until 8 p.m. this evening. There is a chance we may see some thunderstorms, strong winds, and heavy rain. Let's get a first look at our local forecast to see more of what we can expect.
Hey there, good evening. I'm meteorologist Pamela Gardner. Well, we had a chance for a pop-up shower or storm earlier today, and we did see that come to fruition in the heat of the afternoon. And with all the humidity out there, there's still a slim chance for a pop-up shower or storm this evening until about sunset. Then anything that does develop will diminish. And overnight tonight, we're going to stay warm and muggy across central Massachusetts, but we dry out the atmosphere here. So a dry overnight. Going into your Wednesday forecast, there will be a chance for additional showers and storms to move through as a cold front passes by. More about that in a second. Low temperatures will be in the low 70s from Worcester to Fitchburg, and the wind still from the south-southwest. Tomorrow afternoon, we have the thunderstorm icons for Worcester, 85 degrees, and also for Fitchburg, 90 degrees. The showers and storms will be off and on in the afternoon and evening as a cold front moves through. Becoming less humid after that, then cooling off our temperatures. Highs will be much more comfortable, especially without the humidity once we get towards the weekend. Your exclusive 10-day forecast shows a little active weather pattern by next week. More about that in just a few minutes.
All right, thank you, Pamela. And with temperatures nearing 90 degrees, there is always the risk of heat exhaustion, especially for people who work outdoors or are spending long periods of time outside. Our Brittany Schaefer joins us live now with more in Worcester. Brittany.
Olivia, Peterson's is full service, therefore the attendants are walking from pump to fill people's gas. They say an 8-hour day in this type of heat is exhausting. Tuesday's heat advisory in Worcester has many looking for ways to stay cool, but for Central Paving, they have a job to do.
It's pretty brutal today. Don't like working on these days, but you got to do what you got to do.
The crew was working on a driveway on Balin Street in Worcester. Owner Bill Hicks says the combination of high temperatures, physical labor, and paving equipment is tough.
On the machine, it's about 120 degrees. So it gets, legs get cramped, arms get cramped. Like I say, you just keep taking the water and the Gatorade as much as possible.
The machine lays it down, but then you have to put, maybe you need an extra shovelful here or there, and then you have to rake it to get it perfectly flat the way you want it. And you got to sweep up after you're done. You need at least a 5-man crew. It makes you sweat like crazy and you get overexerted and tired. So we'll just do this one job today and call it quits.
Gas attendants at Peterson Oil Service are also working in the heat.
Today is very hot, very muggy. It's pretty uncomfortable.
Gary Richardson says the full-service gas station is usually busy, so they don't get breaks often. He says the key is to stay hydrated.
You walk, believe it or not, somewhere between 5 and 7 miles. Even though they're short little steps, it adds up. Kind of makes me lethargic, but we keep hydrated. We have a big water cooler up there.
Hicks says although this week is difficult, he says their ideal weather is right around the corner.
68, 65, sunshine, but no rain. And it's coming soon. It's coming in the fall.
Richardson says on a day like today, he goes through 8 water bottles a shift and tries to sit down between filling tanks. Live in Worcester, Brittany Schaefer, Worcester News Tonight.
And if you're looking for a way to cool off, Shore Park Beach is open in Worcester. The beach was closed due to bacteria contamination and blue-green algae. All of Indian Lake was closed last week for treatment. Testing Monday found there was E. coli bacteria near Shore Park. New test results show the water quality is safe. Shore Park Beach is open daily 12 p.m. to 7 p.m. Worcester police are investigating a stabbing at the WRTA hub Monday night. Officers responded to the area for reports of a fight at 60 Foster Street. When they arrived, they found a 37-year-old male with a stab wound to his back. Police say it appears the victim was arguing with a group of people when a fight broke out. The victim was stabbed and the group fled the scene. He was brought to the hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. If you have any information, you are asked to contact police. A woman in Washington state is arrested in connection with a massive data breach involving Capital One. Nearly 100 million people are affected by the breach. Financial experts' best advice is to remain calm. Our Erin Keating has the details.
Millions of Capital One customers are dealing with the massive data breach. The FBI arrested a Seattle woman who's accused of accessing the personal information of Capital One credit card holders, including people who applied for certain cards dating back to 2005.
Most of the data was on U.S. consumers that have done business with Capital One.
According to Capital One, no credit card numbers or login information was revealed, but social security numbers and linked bank account numbers were put at risk. Richard Carr says when a data breach occurs, consumers should always change their passwords and shred financial documents. The president of Carr Financial Group wants people to know they will not be held accountable for any fraudulent activity on their accounts.
As long as that person, the account owner, didn't take an active role in making that transfer, then they're not liable for the amount that was stolen from their account. So people should feel relief that it isn't their dollars that will be gone forever.
The Better Business Bureau's Nancy Cahalan says credit card companies like Capital One will contact you when suspicious financial activity happens.
Always monitor the activity on your credit and debit card accounts. And if you see something that's unusual, contact the credit card company via the number that's on the back of your card. That way you know you're contacting them directly.
Although Capital One is taking action to repair the damage done by the breach, Cahalan and Carr say a case like this is unsettling for those affected.
This is a very large breach, but for individuals, it's all about how it affects them personally.
I think this serves as a great reminder for folks that there are folks out there looking to do harm financially.
Both Cahalan and Carr say even if you don't have Capital One, you could still be subject to a breach like this. They say when disclosing financial information to always be cautious. In Worcester, Erin Keating, Worcester News Tonight.
The division chief of pediatric surgery at UMass Memorial Medical Center is taking on a new role at the medical school. Dr. Michael Hirsh will be the new assistant vice provost of wellness and health promotion. He's looking to help students at the medical school work to the best of their ability and cope with stress. He says being involved in pediatric surgery for decades gives him valuable experience.
I've seen how I've coped. I've seen how many of my colleagues have coped, and my residents and students have coped or not coped. There's a lot of avenues that I think we could use to make students feel like they're making a contribution and they're getting back the appropriate level of accolades and connectedness that I think will help them weather some of these real stressful tests.
Hirsh is also the medical director for Worcester's Division of Public Health. He starts the new position at UMass Medical School on October 1st. A popular city restaurant is set to open a second location in central Massachusetts. The Fix Burger Bar is coming to the former location of Allura Restaurant in Marlborough. Allura closed in February after being evicted by its landlord. The restaurant had been open for 12 years. The Fix Burger Bar is operated by Nish Hospitality Group in Worcester. Brimfield police are asking for the public's help capturing a runaway reptile. Police say a lizard is on the loose in town. They believe the bearded dragon is someone's pet. It was last seen in the area of John Haley and Washington Road. They say the reptile is harmless, but they do want to capture it before it gets hurt. If you have any idea who owns the lizard or if you have seen it, you're asked to call police. Powwow Worcester is just a few weeks away from bringing back their artistic vision in the city. This year, Powwow Worcester is partnering with the Worcester Housing Authority and the Worcester Public Schools. The focus will be on community development, diversity, and arts education. Art installations are planned at Great Brook Valley and area schools. More than a dozen artists, including muralists, cartoonists, and screen printers, are participating. Organizers say each year they choose areas where they want to beautify and activate.
When artists come here, they like to feel that they provide a gift to the city, and we felt that choosing this neighborhood would be the best location for their gift.
And the festival will run from August 16th to the 23rd.